A John Deere compact runs a Japanese engine, not as a rumor and not as an insult. The 1025R ships with a Yanmar 3T NV80F diesel, and Deere's own product literature says so. That's number 9 on this list. Once you know that, the whole color war starts to look like paint, because the real story in compact tractors was never one country. It's the distance between the badge on the hood and the factory that welded the frame. 9 of those gaps on this list, and the last one ended in a federal penalty. By the end, you'll know which brands are Korean, which are Indian, which are genuinely Chinese, and the one question that settles it. So, number 9. Deere designs, assembles and tests its 1, 2, 3 and 4 series compacts in Augusta, Georgia, and says so plainly on its own product pages. That part is real, and it's worth respecting. But it isn't the whole answer. What almost nobody digs into is what's bolted into the frame. The 1025R is rated at 24.2 horsepower, and that diesel is a Yanmar, and it goes back further than an engine order. From roughly 1978 to 1989, Yanmar built the entire tractor. The 750 and the 850, Deere's first compact utility machines, were Japanese tractors in green paint. Remember the name Yanmar. It comes back later, and it comes back somewhere you will not expect. That's number 9, and we haven't started yet. Number 8 catches Massey owners off guard. The little GC subcompacts, the 1723E and the 1725M, run an Iseki diesel built in Japan. Iseki has supplied that small Massey line for decades, back through the 1100 and 1600 ranges. So a red tractor with a British-American nameplate is a Japanese machine with a North American distributor. None of that is hidden, exactly, but none of it gets advertised either, and that gap between technically disclosed and actually communicated runs this whole list. Number 7 covers 2 badges at once, which tells you plenty on its own. The new Holland Boomer compacts and the Case IH Farmall compacts are both built by LS Mtron in South Korea. Same supplier. 2 of the biggest names in American agriculture. LS traces back through the Gold Star and LG Industrial companies, with old technology ties to Mitsubishi, but you won't find that on a window sticker. LS has quietly built under other badges too, including Montana, Tafe, Landini, and McCormick. So when a salesman says the blue one and the red one are different engineering, ask which plant. I get it, that feels rude. Ask anyway. Number 6 is Bobcat, and this history most lots won't walk you through. Bobcat entered compact tractors around 2007 with machines built by Daedong of Korea. Then in October of 2012, Bobcat issued a public statement ending that supplier contract and exiting tractors. Owners kept parts and warranty support. But the line was gone. Bobcat returned in 2019 with 15 models from 21 to 58 horsepower, again from Daedong, assembled in Statesville, North Carolina. So it isn't a story about a company that quit. It's about how fast a badge can vanish and return while the builder never moved. Number 5 is Mahindra, where the word assembly deserves a closer look. Mahindra runs 5 United States assembly plants in Houston, Chattanooga, Marysville, Bloomsburg, and Lyons. What arrives there are completely knocked-down kits shipped from Indian facilities. Frames, castings, drivetrains, crated, but inside the smaller machines, the engineering often isn't Indian at all. Mitsubishi built the 18 to 32 horsepower models through a joint venture. TYM of Korea built others in that lineup. So the subcompact on your local lot may be a Japanese design, in an Indian kit bolted together in Texas. Pause right here, because 4 badges on this list come out of one Korean building. Kuka Machinery and its parent company, TYM, build TYM tractors, Branson, Bad Boy, and Rural Kings RK line. TYM completed its purchase of the remaining Kuka stake in August of 2021, a deal reported near 56 billion won. Different dealers, different paint, one factory. That isn't a scandal, and nobody broke a law. But it's the map nobody hands you on the way in. If you've made it this far, you already know this channel isn't here to pick your color for you. Subscribe if that's useful, because the badge map changes every couple of years and somebody has to keep reading the filings. So, number 4. Rural Kings RK tractors are built by TYM, with final assembly in Waverly, Ohio and Williston, Florida, and here is the callback I promised. The engines across most of that RK lineup, from 19 up through 55 horsepower, are Yanmar. That is the same engine brand sitting in the John Deere we opened this video with. Bad Boy, out of Batesville, Arkansas, signed an original equipment agreement with Kuke in 2020 for 22 to 35 horsepower machines. Owners on the forums described the 4035H as a Branson 3515H in orange paint. It carries a 6-year powertrain warranty, and I personally think that comparison is the most useful thing here. The premium engine and the budget engine came off the same Japanese line. Number 3 is Kioti, and I want to be careful with this one. Kioti is the North American badge for Daedong of Korea, founded in 1947. The Wendell, North Carolina headquarters handles distribution, parts, and fulfillment. But the tractors and the engines are manufactured in Korea and in China. That isn't speculation on my part. That's how the company describes its own operation. Daedong builds its own diesels, which almost no value brand can honestly claim. But if you assumed Wendell was a factory floor, that came from a brochure, not a filing. Number 2 is the honest answer to the question in the title of this video. Nortrac, sold through Northern Tool, is Chinese-built. Originally Jinma, then switched over to Photon Level around 2010. A Northern Tool warranty administrator confirmed that supplier changed directly on a public tractor forum. Lovell and YTO are enormous manufacturers with serious industrial capacity. And the iron itself is not automatically bad. But the risk here was never metallurgy. The risk is the dealer map. Jinma, Photon, YTO, Weifeng, and Dongfeng reach American buyers through import lots and marketplace listings, not through a service network with a parts counter. And a hydraulic pump you cannot source inside a week costs a working landowner far more than the badge ever saved him. Number 1 has almost nothing to do with China. The Federal Trade Commission's Made in U.S. a labeling rule took effect in August of 2021. An unqualified Made in USA claim legally requires that all or virtually all components are made and sourced domestically. Assembled in USA is a deliberately weaker qualified claim. That is precisely why that exact wording shows up on tractor product pages. Now here's the part that stops you. In January of 2024, the Federal Trade Commission collected a $2 million civil penalty from Kubota North America. The charge was labeling thousands of overseas-made replacement parts as made in USA. The agency called it the largest civil penalty ever assessed under that labeling rule. Not an importer, not some marketplace brand nobody can pronounce. The premium name every landowner in the country trusts. That's number 1. And the paperwork problem doesn't stop at labels. In January of 2023, Deere signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the American Farm Bureau Federation covering repair access. The Farm Bureau agreed in exchange to stop promoting right to repair legislation. Colorado passed House Bill 231011 anyway, effective the 1st of January 2024. It's the first state law of its kind covering farm equipment. But the quiet irony underneath all of it is hard to miss. The cheap mechanical import, with no filter and no software gate, is frequently the easiest machine on the lot to fix yourself. That's the list, and I want to acknowledge something before we go further. The point was never to make you afraid of a nameplate. Korean iron is good iron. Japanese iron is good iron. Indian volume manufacturing is a large part of why a subcompact costs what it costs at all. What actually strands a landowner is orphan support. Montana is gone. The Cabela's tractors are gone. That first Bobcat line disappeared inside a single press statement. So here are 3 picks, each with a real caveat, and not one of them chosen by color. The first pick, and the most accessible one, is Kioti. Daedong builds its own engines, which means your parts availability doesn't hang on a third-party supplier's mood. The North American dealer network runs past 450 locations. The powertrain warranty on machines up to 60 horsepower runs 6 years. Honest caveat, and it matters. The manufacturing is Korean and Chinese, and dealer density thins out badly across parts of the Mountain West. So check your drive time to the nearest parts counter before you ever check the price tag. The second pick is Kubota, and yes, I know I just spent an entire item on their federal penalty. Resale data is why they still belong here. Iron Solutions dealer reported figures on 5-year depreciation put the B2650 at 37.7%, the strongest number in that set. The BX1870 in that same data came in at 49%, which was the worst. So the resale halo is model specific, not brand wide, and anyone telling you otherwise is selling. The subcompacts and the L series are assembled in Gainesville and Jefferson, Georgia. Honest caveat, you pay for that dealer network and the sticker price every single time you sign. The third pick is Yanmar, and this is the one I'd put my own money on. The warranty tells you what a company actually believes about its own castings. 2 years bumper to bumper and 10 years or 3,000 hours on the powertrain. That was announced in April of 2019, doubling their previous 5-year promotion. They've built compact diesels since 1933, and Yanmar America operates out of Adairsville, Georgia, honest caveat, and it is a serious one. Their dealer network is the thinnest of these three by a wide margin. If the nearest Yanmar dealer is 2 hours from your gate, buy the Kubota instead. Your call, but that's the math. And here's the spec that quietly decides the next 20 years, whatever badge you end up buying. Under Environmental Protection Agency non-road diesel rules, engines below 19 kilowatts, which works out to 25 horsepower, sit outside the Tier 4 particulate regime. No diesel particulate filter. No regeneration cycle to babysit on a cold morning. Some buyers want the bigger machine anyway, but nobody should pay for that filter by accident. That is exactly why so many machines are rated at 24-point-something horsepower. It isn't a loophole, and it isn't a cheat. It's a regulatory band that every manufacturer on this list builds to deliberately. The gap between the badge and the builder is really the only thing you need to understand about this market. You now know something the man signing paperwork this afternoon doesn't. So use it, walk the lot, find the data plate on the frame rail, and read the engine model number straight off the block. Then ask the salesman which plant built the machine. The good ones will tell you without blinking, but the ones who get vague have told you something too. They just answered a completely different question. Drop your brand and your build plate in the comments, and I'll be in there reading them. Next time, we're pulling apart used tractor hour meters, and what a rollback reading actually costs you the day you go to trade. YouTube thinks you'll like this video, so click it, and if you made it to the end, subscribe.